Yes, that's Shedeur. The same kid Cleveland can't figure out how to use. The same rookie QB who's shown more potential in a handful of preseason drives than some teams have seen in 5 years of quarterback purgatory. The same young man trying to prove himself in a league that wants to chew him up for daring to be both talented and marketable. And now, Jerry Jones wants him. Badly. But of course, this isn't about football alone. When is it ever with Jerry? This is about legacy, about empire, about going down in history not as just the most visible owner in the league. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. But as the most legendary. And to do that, Jones needs a quarterback. Not just any quarterback. Not just someone who can toss a spiral and say the right things at the podium. No, he wants a star. He wants spectacle, swagger, a headline every Sunday and every Tuesday. He wants Shedeur Sanders. And if you think this is just idle gossip or some fan-made dream scenario, think again. There are whispers, lots of them, anonymous dinners, quiet calls, subtle pressure from people who know exactly how to plant a seed in the right room. Jerry Jones is no stranger to rule bending. And when it comes to quarterback drama, the man practically invented the genre. This isn't tampering. This is theater. And in classic Jerry fashion, it's already working. The media is running with it. Executives are scrambling to figure out what's real and what's a smokescreen. Browns fans are sweating. And Kevin Stefanski? Kevin Stefanski looks like someone just told him the team bus is driving off without him. Because here's the thing, Jerry Jones isn't asking. He's setting the stage. And if he gets his way, Shedeur Sanders will be in Dallas blue, lighting up AT&T Stadium under those billion-dollar lights, with Deion Sanders sitting in a suite wearing a custom Primetime 2.0 hat like it's the most natural thing in the world. And honestly, it might be. Let's talk about the why. Jerry Jones isn't just chasing a quarterback. He's chasing relevance. He spent the last decade watching the Cowboys become the NFL's most valuable franchise, while simultaneously not making a Super Bowl, since VCRs were still a thing. And while Dak Prescott's been solid, he hasn't brought Jerry what he wants most: immortality. Shedeur Sanders? He could. Not just because he has the skills, though he does. Not just because he's confident and composed, though that too, but because Shedeur represents the future of the league. A quarterback who gets the modern media landscape, who grew up in the spotlight and isn't fazed by it, who brings in not just fans, but entire demographics. Style, culture, energy, and Jerry sees it. He sees the TikToks, the viral interviews, the pre-game fits, the potential global reach. To Jerry Jones, Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's a brand acquisition, a future dynasty centerpiece. A move that would take the Dallas Cowboys from NFL royalty to pop culture juggernaut. Now, of course, there's just one little problem. Shedeur is still on the Browns. For now. And that's what makes this so chaotic. Because the Browns are already in the middle of their own quarterback identity crisis. A front office divided between old school loyalty and new school market potential. A coaching staff that seems more interested in preserving job security than letting their most electric rookie play meaningful snaps. So when Jerry Jones shows up, figuratively or otherwise, and starts making moves, yeah, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Let's not pretend Stefanski didn't already feel the pressure. That sideline snap at the reporter asking about Shedeur, that wasn't a moment. That was a man under siege. And now, with Jones looming over the situation like a Texas oil baron in a soap opera, the Browns are officially in panic mode. Because if this gets out of control, and it will, there's no coming back. The media's already salivating. The league office is probably scrambling to remind owners about conduct guidelines, while quietly watching the drama unfold like it's peak HBO. And Jerry's just smiling, because this is exactly what he wants. Let everyone talk. Let the rumors swirl. Let the league try to slap his wrist. Because at the end of the day, he knows what he's doing, creating leverage, not just with the Browns, but with the league, with sponsors, with fans. He's saying, I can make Shedeur Sanders a star, or I can leave him stuck in Cleveland while you fumble him. That's power. That's leverage. And in the NFL, leverage is the game behind the game. Now let's talk about Shedeur for a second, because the real tragedy here is that he didn't ask for any of this. He's not playing politics. He's not chasing headlines. The guy just wants to play football, to prove himself, to earn it. But he can't move an inch without getting dragged into the billionaire Hunger Games. Every day he stays in Cleveland is another day he's caught between two empires, one trying to hide him and one ready to exploit him. And make no mistake, if Jones gets what he wants, it will be a spectacle. The moment Shedeur steps onto that field in a Cowboys uniform, it will be the biggest story in sports. The broadcast rights, the jersey sales, the media circus, every camera on him, every step analyzed. And primetime himself, Deion Sanders, standing in the middle of it all with that told-you-so smile that says this was always the plan. Would it be good for Shedeur? Maybe. Would it be good for the NFL? Debatable, because the league likes control. The league likes structure, quiet trades, polite negotiations. But Jerry wants fireworks. He wants narratives. He wants to rewrite the rules and make the NFL his personal playground. And with Shedeur, he just might pull it off. So what happens now? Well, the Browns are cornered. They can try to ignore it, pretend nothing's happening, feed the media a few talking points. But if Shedeur keeps getting benched and the Cowboys keep dropping cryptic quotes and whispers, the fan base will explode. The media will pounce. And the league? They'll be forced to decide. Is Jerry just being Jerry? Or is this the beginning of a dangerous precedent where billionaires trade players like chess pieces in a Netflix drama? Because if Jerry Jones can orchestrate this, if he can swoop in and pry a rising star quarterback out of another team's hands without even officially tampering, then nothing in the NFL is sacred anymore. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Jerry wants to burn down the old system, to show the world that the Cowboys aren't just a team, they're the league's main character. Maybe this is about proving one last time that Jerry Jones doesn't just own a team. He owns a narrative. So here's your fake award for the day. The Puppet Master of the Year trophy, presented to Jerry Jones for turning a rookie quarterback's development arc into a Shakespearean legacy play featuring media manipulation, league resistance, and enough smoke-filled backrooms to launch a new drama series. Comment below. Do you think Jerry can actually pull this off? Should the league step in? Should Shedeur run to Dallas or stay and fight in Cleveland? And don't forget to subscribe, because if this story keeps spiraling the way it's going, the NFL offseason might be more entertaining than the playoffs. Jerry Jones gets his way. This won't be just a trade. It'll be the NFL's version of a hostile takeover, televised in high definition with drone shots of AT&T Stadium and dramatic music playing behind every ESPN segment. This isn't just sports anymore. This is entertainment. This is empire building. This is the 82-year-old billionaire oil man in cowboy boots, flipping his Rolex like a coin, try to own not just Sunday Night Football, but the entire NFL narrative. And Shedeur Sanders? He's the golden ticket. Now here's where things get even messier. Because if you think Jerry is trying to do this above board, you haven't been paying attention to how this man operates. This is the same Jerry who once held a press conference on his team bus. The same Jerry who drafts based on gut feelings and vibes. The same Jerry who can hold a 45-minute monologue about the glory days and somehow make it feel like a sermon. He doesn't just follow the NFL rules. He dances around them. And with Shedeur, that dance is already in motion. Whisper campaigns. Leaks that aren't really leaks. Maybe a third-party business dinner with someone in Sanders' circle. A few cryptic phrases like future-focused or long-term vision. Nothing concrete, but just enough to get people talking. And when the headlines hit, could Shedeur Sanders be headed to Dallas? Well, mission accomplished. Because once the idea is planted in the public's mind, the Browns lose control. It doesn't matter what's actually happening behind the scenes. The court of public opinion will decide this storyline. And right now, public opinion is leaning hard into one idea. Shedeur Sanders deserves better than Cleveland. Ouch! But tell me I'm wrong. He's a rookie with NFL DNA. A quarterback with poise, mobility, swagger, and actual leadership traits. And he's being buried by a coaching staff too afraid to see what they have, let alone develop it. And while that mess continues to fester in Ohio, Jerry Jones is standing in Texas like a Bond villain, watching a house burn down and thinking, perfect, I'll take it all. And what exactly does he want? He wants to make Shedeur the face of America's team. Think about that. Jerry doesn't just want a quarterback who can play. He wants a figure. Someone who embodies the future. Someone who makes people care. Someone who sells jerseys in Tokyo, lights up social media in Paris, and makes every home game feel like the Super Bowl. Dak Prescott's been steady, no doubt. He's played through pain. He's been professional. But he's also plateaued. And for Jerry, that's unacceptable. He wants next. He wants now. And he thinks Shedeur Sanders is the first domino in a new era. An era where the Dallas Cowboys aren't just playoff contenders. They're a global spectacle. Football, fashion, content, commerce. All flowing through one name, one kid. And that's why Jones is circling like a shark. But don't get it twisted. This isn't just a Jerry thing. This whole situation is exposing the cracks in the system. Because what we're really seeing is a collision between two NFL philosophies, old school development versus new school branding. Cleveland is still pretending the league works the way it did in 1996. Draft, develop, wait 3 years, maybe you get a star. Meanwhile, Jerry's over here building an entire cinematic universe around one player before he's even officially on the team. And to the NFL's higher-ups, that is terrifying, because the league hates when owners get too loud. When they make deals in shadows, when they bend the unwritten rules of franchise etiquette. And Jerry, he lives to do all of that. You think Roger Goodell hasn't made a few informal calls by now? Please. The moment these Shedeur rumors started gaining traction, you know the league's legal team was scrambling to check every phone record, email, and dinner reservation in the tri-state area. Because here's the truth. If Jerry pulls this off, he breaks the NFL. Not in a bad way, not in a scandalous, burn-it-down way, but in the way that shifts the entire power dynamic. If Jones can pry a top rookie quarterback away from another franchise, not through trades, not through free agency, but through media manipulation, marketing power, and sheer will, then suddenly everything changes. Franchise loyalty? Dead. Team development plans? Irrelevant. If you got the right brand, the right leverage, and the right timing, you can do whatever you want, and you better believe other owners are watching this closely. Because if Jerry succeeds, it's not just a Shedeur move, it's a blueprint for how to turn your franchise into a content machine, for how to steal momentum, for how to weaponize charisma and rewrite the business model of pro football. But let's talk about the emotional core of all this for a second. Let's talk about Shedeur. The kid's in the middle of this typhoon, try and keep his head down, run his drills, learn the playbook, and block out the noise. But how do you focus when billionaires are making legacy bets on your name? When every throw you make is being analyzed by two franchises and half the league's media machine? It's exhausting, and it's dangerous. Because if this thing spirals, and it might, it's his career on the line. If he stays in Cleveland and the Browns continue to sabotage his momentum, he risks wasting his rookie contract sitting behind guys who peaked 5 years ago. But if he does get swept into Jerry's tornado of glory, he risks becoming more symbol than player. Just another piece of Jones' long-standing attempt to turn the NFL into reality TV. So, yeah, the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just a quarterback battle. This is a battle for the soul of the league. Will teams focus on development, patient structure? Or will owners follow Jerry's lead and chase players like brands, crafting narratives before the talent even hits the field? And for Shedeur, it's a no-win situation unless someone, somewhere just lets him play. No legacy narratives, no marketing schemes, no media circus, just football. We all know that's not going to happen, right? Not in this league, not with this much attention. So now it's a waiting game. Jerry Jones is playing chess. The Browns are playing defense. And Shedeur Sanders is trying not to become a pawn. Jerry Jones, sitting in his corner office at the Star, sipping on something expensive, looking out over the empire he built. And what does he see? A future where Shedeur Sanders isn't just throwing touchdowns. He's throwing shade at every other franchise that missed out. And in that future, Jones is the architect of it all. He's got the vision. He's got the power. And now, allegedly, he's got a plan. You can feel it building, can't you? The headlines are getting bolder. The insiders are getting cryptic. And Cleveland? Cleveland's sweating. Because while they were busy benching Shedeur in the name of development, Jerry Jones was out here laying the groundwork for a dynasty reboot. One that skips all the painful rebuilding years, ignores conventional quarterback timelines, and dives straight into cultural domination with Shedeur at the helm. But let's not pretend this is simple. Jones isn't just waltzing into a trade. No, that would be too obvious. Too clean. Jerry's not playing Madden. He's playing House of Cards. What he's doing is far more subtle, death by whispers, stirring up just enough noise in the media to make the Browns paranoid, applying pressure in just the right places, through proxies, through narrative manipulation, through those suspiciously timed, anonymous sources that show up the second someone makes eye contact with a TMZ cameraman. And the result? Cleveland is flailing. Let's not forget, this is a team that hasn't had a stable quarterback since the first Spider-Man movie came out. Every few years, they find the guy. They promise fans he's the answer. Then, slowly but surely, that guy gets chewed up by system changes, internal politics, and good old-fashioned incompetence. And now they might actually have the answer. They might actually have a quarterback who can play, lead, and market all in one package. And instead of protecting him, nurturing him, building a future around him, they've got him sitting behind guys whose biggest contribution is veteran presence. Meanwhile, Jerry Jones is licking his lips and dialing up Plan B, C, and D, because Jerry doesn't need Cleveland to agree. He just needs them to start cracking. Think about it. The moment the Browns' front office starts infighting, arguing about PR optics, fan reactions, ownership expectations, Jones wins. Because chaos creates opportunity. And Jerry Jones? He's the master of opportunity. This is the same guy who turned the Cowboys into a global brand without Super Bowl wins, who sold out stadiums without deep playoff runs. The man could sell water to a fish if it came with a Cowboy star on the label. And now he's setting his sights on a player who's not just a quarterback, but a narrative. Shedeur Sanders represents something bigger than just talent. He's the evolution of the quarterback brand. He's young, media-savvy, composed, and connected. His last name carries weight. His face draws cameras. His vibe? Unshakable. And Jerry wants it all. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. The NFL absolutely hates this. Because if Jones pulls it off, it sets a dangerous precedent. It tells every other owner, you don't need to wait. You don't need to develop. You don't even need to follow the rules. Just manipulate the narrative. Steal the headlines. Apply pressure until someone breaks. The league is terrified of that blueprint becoming standard practice. Because then what happens? Do owners stop investing in rookies the normal way? Do they just start plucking quarterbacks off other rosters by creating public chaos? Do players start using their market value to override their football trajectory? That's the slippery slope. That's what's on the line here. And Shedeur? He's standing at the center of it all, caught between a franchise that doesn't know how to handle him and an owner who knows exactly what to do, maybe a little too well. It's Shakespearean, honestly. The rising hero, the aging king, the crumbling court, the league as the high council try and keep the world from falling into disarray. And we, the audience, we are eating it up. But here's what's wild. Shedeur hasn't said a word, not one tweet, not one, I just want to play interview. Nothing. He's letting the chaos swirl around him like a storm while he keeps doing reps, studying film, and pretending the NFL isn't melting down over his future. That's silence. That's power. That's maturity. That's knowing that sometimes the loudest move is the one you don't make. Meanwhile, Kevin Stefanski is trying to hold press conferences without spontaneously combusting. You can almost feel him aging in real time. Every question about Shedeur is a minefield. Every no comment is just more fuel for fire. And the Browns front office? They're split. On one side, the football minds, the scouts, the coaches, The guys who know Shedeur's tape speaks for itself. On the other, the business minds, the marketing execs, the executives who see jersey sales, engagement metrics, and the massive payday Cleveland could get if they package Shedeur into a blockbuster trade with Dallas. A trade that, by the way, would make headlines for months. ESPN would need an entire channel just for coverage. Podcasts would explode. TikTok would become unlivable for Browns fans. And Jerry Jones? He'd be smiling all the way to the Hall of Fame induction speech he probably already wrote for himself. So what's the next move? Honestly, anything could happen. This situation is so volatile, so unprecedented, that even the league insiders are just shrugging. One wrong word from Stefanski, one cryptic post from Dion, one accidental meeting in a hotel lobby, and the dominoes could fall. Because the truth is, everyone's waiting for someone else to blink. Will the Browns finally admit they're not committed to Shedeur and open the trade talks? Will Shedeur's camp start applying pressure behind the scenes? Will Jerry go full supervillain and leak something so dramatic that the league has to act? No matter how it plays out, one thing is clear. This is bigger than football now. This is legacy. This is power. This is control of the next era of NFL stardom. And here's the real kicker. If Shedeur does end up in Dallas, if he walks into that stadium, takes the field, and throws a laser to CD Lamb in front of 90,000 screaming fans, it won't just be a win for Jerry. It'll be a message to the league, to the owners, to the media, to every kid coming up in college ball, dreaming of being the next face of the NFL. It'll say, you don't wait to be chosen anymore. You choose. So here's the final fake award for today. The Legacy Checkmate Trophy, presented to Jerry Jones for turning one rookie quarterback's future into a league-wide reckoning on power, branding, and the price of control. Now it's your turn. Do you think this move actually happens? Would the league even allow it? Or is Jerry just playing the long game while the Browns slowly implode under pressure? Hit the comments and let it rip. And make sure to subscribe, because this story is not a football game. It's a revolution.